Hi there. Today I'm going to talk to you about word clouds, or tag clouds as they're sometimes called. Word clouds are a graphical representation of word frequency and a really fun way to look at data or text to see which words are used the most. I use word clouds with my intermediate classroom to look at speeches, to analyze their own text, to present their own data in a very interesting way, and to shape what they're trying to communicate with words. I'm going to talk to you today about 3 different word cloud generators online, although there are a lot. So the first word cloud generator that was created was called Wordle. So if you type in wordle.net, you will bring you to this screen here. You'll notice that there are some examples of word clouds here, and I think that you won't find a website online now without some kind of word cloud on there representing their data in a different way. You simply create your own by clicking on this word here, and you get to this box which asks you to paste in a bunch of text. Now, at the beginning of the year, I ask my students to create a word cloud all about me. This is simply a list of their favorites or things that they like to do, people in their family, and you can simply type in words here. If they type in their name more than once, it will appear bigger than the other words in their word cloud. So I generally ask them to type in their name more than once, separated by a space. You're not looking for sentences here, you're looking for simply just words, one right after the other. So if this was an all about me word cloud, I would ask them to list their favorites, their children, their mother's name, things that they like to do. So this is where they can just simply type it in, and it'll create a word cloud out of this. Now if you notice that I've got video games here separated by a space, because word clouds look at each word separately, these will appear separately on your word cloud. If you want them to appear the same, you just have to simply take that space out. So if we fill in a bunch of things here, etc., and then you simply click on Go, and Wordle Word Cloud Generator will make your word cloud for you. The word cloud Wordle uses JavaScript, so if you don't have JavaScript on your computer or on your computer at school, you'll have to make sure that that is installed first. So here we're just building our word cloud. Word clouds also take out punctuation. They take out common words like and, or, but, or the, so that you don't end up with those, because those are the most common words in our language, and that those would show up as the most frequent words. So simply click on Run, and Wordle will create your word cloud for you. Now you'll notice that my name is the biggest, and that's because I typed it out more than once. So reading I typed in twice, and so it shows up as bigger than the ones that I did simply just once. Here you have a number of options. For color, you can choose different colors, the preset colors. Now if you're going to be printing these word clouds out at school, I would suggest you do a white background and then make sure that your text is darker, otherwise you use a lot of ink with these. The next option you have is a layout. Now I prefer any which way, which is kind of all over the place, or horizontal, or mostly horizontal. The reason is I just find it easier to read at this point. I'll show you what all vertical looks like, which is kind of cool. So you can choose the layout that you like here. You can also choose a different font. So if you want to just choose different fonts here, I find that students really like to just explore and find the one that they like. I'm going to go horizontal on this one. So at this point, your word cloud is done. Now you can print here and print out on a piece of paper, or you can click on your print screen button and import this word cloud into a PowerPoint or Word or any other text software that you're using to be able to use it as part of a bigger presentation. Another word cloud generator I'm going to show you is called imagechef.com. So I'll just show you up here. So if you go to imagechef.com, and what you're doing is you're choosing the word mosaic. Word mosaic allows you to do word clouds, but it also allows you to do them in a different shape. You'll see here that it's a heart, and if you click on symbol, you have your choice of many different kinds of symbols. I find that the girls are always choosing the cat, but you can choose whatever it is that you would like to do. Again, if you're going to be printing this out, I would suggest that you make your background white. It's just simply building it here. Make your background white, and make your text a different color, probably a darker color so that it shows up better on a black and white printer. So if you hit preview, it just shows you what it is that you've chosen. So I've chosen my text to be black or a grayscale version of that, and then my background is white. Again, you can choose a different font, whatever suits the representation of how you want to show your data. And then here again is your box where you can put in your words. So again, if they were to type their name more than once, it will show up larger than the other words. They can type their favorites here. I like to garden, so I could put flowers, things that I like to plant, etc. And then click on preview to see what it looks like. On Word Mosaic, I really like it because you can also choose different featured themes or preset themes here. So if you click here, you'll see butterfly. They've got a four-leaf clover. They've got stars. So you can just choose what it is that you want to be making your shape of. I'm going to go back to flower here, and then I'm going to go back to a light background and a dark color because I do want to print this. There we go. I find that the fonts are automatic on the featured themes, and you can certainly change them to suit whatever it is you're doing. Now with Word Mosaic, the best way to print this is to hit the print screen button on your keyboard and to import it in as an image into PowerPoint. That's the best way to print this. The other word cloud generator I'm going to show you today is from abcya.com. Now abcya.com is lots of games and activities that support curriculum from grades K to grade 4. So if you simply go to abcya.com, and if you go to the very top, it'll show you that you have your option to choose your grade here. So as an intermediate classroom, I'm going to choose grade 4. And you'll see here it has several different activities from language arts to math to fun seasonal games that your students can play. Once we get into the grade 4, so clicking on grade 4, it will bring us to the main screen for ABCYA, and then if you just simply drag the bar down a little bit, you will find word clouds. Back a little bit here. Now this word cloud generator is not as doesn't give you as many options as the other word cloud generators, but it's still a lot of fun, and there are some things about this that I like. So once you're ready to get started, you just click anywhere to start, and again you've got a box here to type or paste your words. So I'm going to do the same. Again, the more frequent the word, the larger it is. And simply click on the arrow to generate your word cloud. Again, you have a choice of layout. And if I go horizontal here, it's a little bit easier to see. You have a choice of colors, and if you're going to print, again, choose black on white. It's easier to read, and a choice of fonts. Not as many as the other word cloud generators, but it's still pretty good. So at this point, you can print just by simply clicking over here and clicking on print. I'm going to go back to Wordle.net and show you another really neat feature about this word cloud. So as I mentioned before, I've used word clouds before to look at different text and to look at and analyze my own text or other text or speeches online to talk about rhetoric, what kind of words are used the most in a speech. So if we click on Create Your Own, there's a couple of options here that we can look at to look at speech. So let's say I want to go to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. So if I go to AmericanRhetoric.com, I find my way to Martin Luther King's speech. I can simply copy and paste this entire speech into Wordle, and it's going to look at the most frequent words that Martin Luther King used when he made this speech. It's a great way to talk about rhetoric and the words that politicians or famous people are using on purpose when they are making their speech. So I'm going to simply go back to Wordle. I'm going to paste this in here, and then I'm going to click on Go. Because this is a larger speech, it sometimes takes a little bit longer for Wordle to create the word cloud. And when it comes up, it's a very interesting way to see what words Martin Luther King Jr. used the most when he wrote the speech or presented the speech. I've used word clouds in this way to compare between world leaders or provincial leaders to see what kind of words they are using specifically for a BC audience or for an Ontario audience. So when Wordle is done, there we go. So there is, let me change the layout to horizontal. It's just easier to see. And you'll notice that freedom is the word that Martin Luther King Jr. used the most. You can change your layout and your color to make it easier to see. That's kind of neat. So if we go back to Wordle, let's take a look at the throne speech from Prime Minister Harper this year. So I'll just open Wordle, ready to go, and then I'll go back to the Government of Canada website and look for the full throne speech. Again, this is a huge speech, so I'm just going to take the first section of this speech and paste it into my Wordle. So I'm just going to copy this, go back to my Wordle, and I'm going to paste it into my box and see what words were used the most in a Canadian throne speech. There you go. So let's change the layout to horizontal just to take a look. So that's interesting. Families, the words that they decided to use in the throne speech this year. Canadian, together, opportunities. So interesting way to compare different speeches together. Another really interesting thing about using word clouds is the Wordle word cloud generator allows you to actually look at a blog or a website and look at the words that are used the most on there. So this is where you're going to use this section here. So if I go to librarygirl.net, it's Jennifer Lagarde's website, and if I just simply click on the URL, www.librarygirl.net, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it back into my Wordle, or into my URL here, and then I'm going to submit. And word cloud, the Wordle word cloud is going to look at the entire website or the entire blog, whatever you want to choose, and it's going to pull up the most frequently used words. This is really interesting, and I think you'll find that a lot of blogs or websites use a word cloud on their website to show what they're talking about at that any given time. So you can see, obviously, this is library and teacher, your student needs, and school. So that is word clouds. I encourage you to use it in your intermediate classroom to look at text, to have some fun, and to show your data in a different way.